great fans. You know, they seen it all from my younger days, from my trials and my tribulations to this point today, and it's a great honor just for them to be able to stand up and give me that type of ovation. Being a Celtic for all these years and understanding what it means to be a Celtic and the ups and downs you've been through to come to this point in your career. It really means so much. Just the support that they've given me over the years. You heard the deep breaths and that sound that goes up with every shot. Then you go on the layup line, you see the signs in the stands. You can't help sometimes but notice when they're sitting behind the bench or under the basket. So these fans have been very, very supportive of me, and I'm thankful to be able to be the Boston Celtics.
What did you think of the video tribute? Did you get a chance to see it when the game was going on?
I actually I saw glimpses of it. Doc was talking in the timeout. You just try to focus in on the game and just try to soak it all in after the game. Probably soak it in a little bit more once I go home and sit down and realize what's really going on right now. It's so fresh in my head right now that the game is over.
How we grew up, we looked at Larry Bird set the tone, Magic set the tone, MJ set the tone, Dr. J set the tone. Those are the guys that were icons to us growing up, and that generation is, even though we know them, understand them, see them, they've changed the game. The kids growing up nowadays, they don't have a huge connection to those players, and they connect more to us. And, so now we're taking over in the eyes of young kids growing up. That's why I set great examples all the time. Every time we go out on the floor is important because people do look up to us. And ask a kid now, Bird is one of the greatest of all time shooters in this league, and most kids haven't seen him play. You understand the awesomeness that people look at, and how much of a high regards they look at him. But most kids haven't seen him play. They're looking at Paul saying that he's the guy that I want to be like, and he's one of the legends that I hope to grow up and be like and be a part of an organization. So with that comes a great responsibility, but we're now in that generation of kids that look up to us, and that's why when they grow up, they'll say they remember these days, games like this when he passed Larry Bird, and he cements himself for us.
It was a relief, it was just, so much was hanging over me over the last couple of days, just hearing about it, and, knowing that you got a game to play, and so many people just talked about it. I mean, definitely it's a great feat knowing that you're going to be up there with all the great Celtics. Larry Bird is probably one of the most important players that ever played in this franchise, and just up there, have your name up there with him is a great honor.
Well, he's a heck of a player, and if you play for one team as long as he has with what he's able to accomplish, then you're going to get the rewards, and that's basically what he's doing, and rightly so. I mean, he went through some tough times when you didn't have as good a team, and he just kept on getting it himself. Wasn't any complaints at all. Just you got to admire a guy that way.
If you look at a 10-year span, most organizations go, in cycles of success, and then when you hit those tough times, that's when organizations want to rebuild and bail out on the players that they have. So it's not only a great testament to Paul being committed, but also the organization being committed to him and kind of following through the plan, and using him to know that he was going to be able to help them lead or win the championship.
made you so loyal to Boston?
You know, just having confidence in ownership and Danny, and just knowing how great this franchise can be. You know, knowing the history and knowing that once this franchise gets back to where it needs to be, and if I'm a part of it, there's no other franchise like this in all of basketball. And you know, eventually it'll turn around. You know, I've just always been an optimist, just knowing, you know, eventually, you know, the next year. That's what I always kept saying to myself, that it'll eventually turn around. And then, you know, that it took one summer for us to really turn this thing around. And I'm just thankful that just my patience was able to pay off.
You know, it's crazy. Doc came in here and said you got to have, you know, certain things, you know, to be able to, you know, get a record like that, and it's good, man. All his character, who he is, says a lot. This happened. Couldn't have happened to a better person, man. So happy for him.
Well, growing up in Inglewood, I would have said I wouldn't have been a Celtic. I'm not going to be a Celtic at the time if somebody was to say that. But you know, that's incredible. You know, you talk about, you know, in my mind, one of the top 5 players that ever played a game. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm, you know, anywhere near, you know, his accomplishments, but you know, just to be mentioned with him with this organization is a great honor.
So if someone said to you that then one day you'd be on his team, winning a title together, watching him break Larry Bird's scoring record, what would you have?
I totally believe him. I totally believe him. I'll be like, you're crazy as hell, but I believe him. It's good. It's just good, man. You know, now we can sit back and joke about holes in our shoes and playing with, you know, itty bitty shorts and all this other stuff. Yeah. And then to be full circle right here, man, it's great, man. So, congratulations, Shu.
You know, I told all my teammates and all my coaches I'm thankful for them. You know, because without them, you know, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish this feat. You know, I've been healthy, I've been lucky, and I've been fortunate. You know, all those things, you know, coming to play. You know, I've been pretty good too. I mean, obviously, you're going to get to this point in your career if you're not, for them to want to keep you. So. You know, thank you.
You just keep putting the shots up. You know, keep knocking down threes, keep scoring, and then when his career's over, you look up and you know you see yourself in good company, and you know your name always has to be mentioned in the same breath with everybody else.
You know, these fans have been behind you so much, and they've been so supportive. You know, they cheer me, they boot me, they cheer me again, and you know, but that's part of life, and that's part of, you know, that's part of the game, and you know, they appreciate the things that I've been able to do over the course of the years. You know, like I said, it probably soak in when I get home and I'm by myself or with my mom, my family too. It really soak in.